Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to give a brief introduction into myself, the surgery I just had on my left ankle, and the direction I would like to go with this channel. So if it's something you're interested in, stick around and I'll do my best to keep the video as short as possible. So let's get straight into it. So firstly, everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Khaled, I'm 29, from Dublin, Ireland, and just over 2 weeks ago I had surgery on my left ankle due to an injury I sustained back in 2023. The idea of my channel is to document the highs and lows of my recovery, all the way from non-weight bearing, no mobility, to full weight bearing, full mobility. With the idea to maybe share some insights with you guys if surgery is something you just had, or whether surgery is something looming in the near future, or whether surgery is something you're still on the fence about. So that's pretty much the idea of my channel. Considering this is my first video, what I'll do is I'll just break down my injury, what led me to surgery, and I'll probably leave it at that for this video because I'm aware that might prolong. So what led me here? Back in October 2023, I rolled my ankle in football training. From what I remember, I had some minor swelling the next day, as you can see here, but everything looked to just be a normal sprain. But due to some poor guidance that I got from my initial physio at the time, I developed Achilles tendonitis, which really prolonged my recovery because I had to pause all my rehabilitation and just solely focus on getting low through my Achilles again, because I couldn't stand on one foot. I couldn't do anything really because the Achilles was so weak that it didn't want to take any load. So that was a cumbersome time because it was very intense, doing exercises twice a day, every day, from what should have been maybe 2 months rehab back from when I rolled to back onto the pitch turned out to be 3 or 4 months. So that was a difficult time. So I went back to football around late January, early February 2024, and straight from the start I noticed instability in my ankle. I felt I always wanted to give way. I rolled it twice more, but not seriously. And my confidence completely went in it. So I went back to my physio. He put me on a more aggressive, course to try help to strengthen it, but I got nowhere. I was stagnant, so he referred me to an orthopedic clinic in Dublin. I met with a doctor in that clinic. He assessed my ankle. He didn't think there was a serious injury there, but he didn't want to rule anything out, so he organized an MRI for me. I think it was May 2024 before my MRI came around. I did my MRI, and the results are shown here. You can see they're very vague. And the conclusion was there was no major injury. Only thing to note really was tendinopathy in my peroneus longus tendon, which sits on the outside of the ankle beside the Achilles. So I didn't agree with this result because I had problems with my ankle. I had a lot of pain on the outside of my ankle. As I said, I kept feeling I wanted to give way, and I requested further analysis. So he actually gave me an injection to see would it subside the pain and help me get back to, say, football, sports, whatever it was. Fortunately, it didn't. 6 weeks later, I went back to him for an assessment, and the cortisol injection didn't help. He had nothing else for me, so what he did was he referred me to the orthopedic consultant who was in that clinic. And I met with him, I think it was August time, maybe 2024. This is where I believe things started to change. Straight from the start of our meeting, he noted that there was instability in my ankle. He would, move my ankle in different directions, ask me where pain was, and then wherever I had pain, he would look at the corresponding MRI scan. And his conclusion was that there was more to the MRI than what was initially assessed. He believed my ATFL ligament, which sits at the front of the ankle, was lax, so he felt it was, say, overstretched and it wasn't pulling my foot in completely to the ankle bone, and he wanted me to go for an ultrascan to confirm that. So he booked me in. I think it was a couple of weeks later I got an ultrascan on my ankle, and what he thought was in my ATFL was correct. It was stretched. He did a scan of the back of my ankle, but behind my bone, ankle bone, and what they found was my peroneus brevis tendon, as you can see here, was torn. They found a split tear in my tendon, and he believed that's where my pain was coming from. The peroneus tendon is what gives you your lateral stability in the ankle, and is what helps move your ankle in and out. So he told me the only way to fix that tear completely was to do surgery, but he didn't want to do surgery straight away. He wanted to do a cortisol injection to see would that help me and alleviate the pain for me to be able to go back to my day-to-day tasks, because by now August, September time 2024, I was struggling walking. It got so bad that even walking for me was, for long periods of time, was a struggle. So he booked me in for an injection. I did in October, I think it was, and I think January I went back to him to see was I any better. Fortunately, I wasn't any better, and he said the only solution now was to do surgery. So I booked in surgery, and on the 20th of March I did it finally, after all this time of struggling, and now I'm in the recovery phase. So surgery was about 2 hours long. I was under full anesthetic, which I was nervous for because it was my first time doing it, but it was a success, so thank God. And they did three different things. So they made an incision on the outside of my ankle, and first they did an ATFL Watson Jones repair, which is, I think, just shortening the ligament to give more stability into the ankle. Um, so that was, I think, for them, obviously, is straightforward. They did my repair through tubularization of my peroneus brevis tendon. Again, you can see a little snip of that, what that looks like here. And finally, they also found tendinopathy in my my peroneus longus tendon, which did show up on the MRI earlier on. So they cleaned away the bad tissues there. They did a repair or whatever, and then they closed the area up. So I'm nearly 3 weeks into my recovery. I won't really get into my recovery in this video because I'm conscious the video is already quite long. What I'll do is I'll upload another video in a couple of days highlighting my recovery so far. And if you guys believe that I left anything out, if there's any question you guys have so far on my injury, if there's any specifics you want from my initial rehab or whatever, drop me a comment. And as I said, I'll upload another video in a couple of days. So if this video is something you were interested in, like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon.